Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the new and improved Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. After many years of interviewing the best and brightest thought leaders around the world on my SiriusXM show, I am excited to now have those interviews available to people around the globe on this podcast. So many people would write us and say, I love what I've been hearing about your interviews with these great people. Where can I access them? I live in this country or that country, or I don't have access to that technology. How can I get the information? Well, I'm so excited now that we are able to offer the information and the interviews free on this podcast. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this message and let me know how you like them. And then do me a favor. If you like them, send a review, write a review and post it. And if you like it, hit like on here and share it and tell everybody you know about it, and then subscribe to this podcast so you'll get the alerts when we post a new interview episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
And yes, it's another great day. We have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it forced upon us. We can't refuse it. We didn't seek it. We didn't choose it, but it's up to us to use it. We must suffer. If we lose it, give account. If we abuse it, it's just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on with you. And I hope you're ready for a great day and that you're ready to grow and go to the next level. Yes, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. And I am grateful for you making this show the number one self-help show in the country now. And it's all because of you, not because of me, but because of you and what you have been able to share with us and how you've been able to tell folks about this show. I want to encourage you to keep doing that. Keep telling your friends, your family, your network. Every time you hear about this show, you think about the show, tell 2, 3, 4 more people, because of that sharing, you have made this show a popular, not only a show on the radio network, but a popular podcast. So please keep sharing it. I start by giving you that minute, God's Minute by Dr. Benjamin Mays, who was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. Then I take a moment in every show. For those who are always listening, you might say, I'm sick of him talking about this, but I'm going to keep talking about it because I know where my bread is buttered and who does the buttering. I give God glory. The start of every show, I give God glory and thank him for life and strength and health. I'm grateful for the show being number one. I'm grateful for the podcast being popular. I'm grateful for best-selling books. I'm grateful for being in the Speaker Hall of Fame, named one of the top 5 speakers in the world. I'm grateful for all of those, but those are the byproducts. What I'm most thankful and grateful for is faith, and my faith and the fact that God has blessed me mightily. I'm grateful for friends and family. I'm grateful, most importantly, for good health. And I'm grateful. So I do not sleep on that. I don't sleep on it, take it lightly. I am grateful and I give God glory. Now, I also want to take a moment to thank our sponsor. I am so grateful for our sponsor and what they have been able to do to bless you through their sponsorship, because they've made this possible. We want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, which is Truist Financial. See, 2 great banks came together to create an even greater bank. Truist. They have a shared purpose to inspire and build better lives and communities. With combined resources, collective passion, and continuous pursuit of innovation, Truist is opening the door to a better financial experience to help people and businesses achieve more. See what the future of finance is shaping up to be at Truist.com. That's Truist.com. Truist Bank, member So I'm grateful for our friends at Truist Bank, and I'm grateful for their continued support of our program. And then I want to take a moment now to introduce you to my guests. You know, I bring the best and the brightest guests from all around the world. And I've got another one today. He is the leading authority in the subject of trust, not just in America, but globally. He's a Hall of Fame speaker. I'm honored to be in the Hall of Fame with him. He's the CEO of Trust Edge Leadership Institute. He's the best-selling author of the book, The Trust Edge. And he's an inventor of the Trust Index, the Enterprise Trust Index, and director of one of the nation's foremost trust studies, the Trust Outlook. His work has been featured in prominent publications such as Fast Company, Forbes, Wall Street Journal. He is a trust expert in residence for High Point University, where our friend Nito Cobain, many of you know, he's been on the show many times. He is with Nito's president, and Nito brought him in, and Nito talks about him in his programs. And he is a expert who speaks to companies like FedEx, Toyota, New York Yankees, government agencies, Department of Homeland Security. This guy is the leading trust guy in the world. And he also has a compelling story about how he went from almost penniless to becoming a massively successful empire builder. My friend is David Horsager. David, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming and being with me.
Dr. Willie Jolley, it is a treat to be here. Hello to your audience. It's going to be a great day.
Absolutely. So I gave him the thumbnail sketch. Who are you? Where did you come from? How did you get from there to here? Just tell us a little more about this guy, David Horsager.
Well, I grew up in one of the poorest counties in Minnesota on a bean farm. If you like chili, you love our
bean farm. Wow.
Dark red kidney beans. If you like to have chili, you love the farm. So I was the youngest of 6 kids, and we grew up, and my parents, almost 92, my dad still runs the farm today. So that's a fun story. He's, bought his first few acres when he came back from the Korean War, and now it's this 1,500 acre bean farm. And so that's a fun story on its own. But I started this work around trust.
Let's start with the entrepreneurial journey, because I think when you told me the story, it was so compelling that many of the people here will say, wow, wow, if he can do that, then I can do that.
Well, let's go there. And I'm looking forward to the trust work, because I believe that lack of trust is the biggest expense of every person. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But that journey, Lisa and I was director of a youth and family organization down in Arkansas for 4 years after college, just back in the 1900s. I have to tell my kids, But in 1999, we moved back to Minnesota, and we started our first company.
Let me. Lisa is your beautiful bride.
She is 24 years.
All right, and you got 4 children.
That's true.
All right. Did y'all meet in college in Arkansas?
We actually met. Yes, we met in college in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
Yep, and that's where we grew up, and that's where we went to college. And we were on they had this spring break mission trip where you could go build homes in this poverty-stricken parts of the world. We were on that trip building 12 by 12 dirt kind of huts for people that didn't have homes. We met on that trip, found out we were both missional and just kind of aligned in certain ways. And I guess she found her mission in life or whatever, but we after a week, we started going on walks together, and and then I graduated and I moved to Arkansas, and she had 2 more years in college. And we wrote, this will be new for people, we wrote 500 handwritten letters back and forth, almost a letter a day. This is before email. We didn't have mobile devices. We didn't have any of those kind of things. And we wrote, and we got to know each other through mail and some phone calls that cost us $1 a minute, and I ended up penniless before I ended up penniless.
All right. So you went to Arkansas. Did you go there for graduate school?
Nope. I went there first for to be on staff with the youth and family organization, Christian ministry, and that's where I actually built my first kind of leadership curriculum. And so Lisa, great experience there, great board of directors. Grew into leadership there, actually first being on staff and then a leader younger than most of my staff, and a whole lot of learnings there, but it was a ministry. We didn't get paid very much. And Lisa and I got asked to speak more and more, and some things around this curriculum. And so we moved back to Minnesota, and this is where the entrepreneur.
By this time, she had come to Arkansas as well.
Exactly. She came down 2 years later. We got married up in Minnesota. Then she came down with me after marriage, and we lived there 2 more years.
Got it. Yep. And then you started
we came back to Minnesota because that's where we're from, and had more of a network. And by the way, when we started, we put everything we had into that first company, and we bought. So just to note, I knew I had to keep expenses low. Yeah. And so we were looking for where could we live? And apartments were so high in Minnesota at that time for what you'd get. And so finally, I lived in my brother's basement. We did for a little while. And then we found 86-year-old Clara Miller said, you can live in my basement, but it's not an apartment. It's no bathroom. It's no kitchen. No windows. We didn't know it was illegal to live in a windowless basement because we lived there. It did come with black mold on the walls. So there you go. And we lived there for 2 years starting this. By that October, we had, after paying our urgent bills, we moved there in the summer. We put everything we had into it. Yeah. And by that October, we kept our bank accounts open by keeping 60 cents in the home account, 80 cents in the business account, and that was it. No saving, nothing left. And that was $1.40 to our name after our urgent bills, but we had enough. And I still remember we put that we write down a What God Has Done book every year. What God, we made it through this. We made it through. Yes. By the way, 2 more times, I about lost everything or was down to nothing until we had, some massive tipping points. But that first decade actually was challenging. And, even, we moved, bought our first place and this kind of thing. But basically, we started there. The day we moved out, there was 2 inches of water in that basement we were living in. And most people wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't take that. I'm not saying we were so great, but we had a clear vision. We were unified. We were passionate together. And so for 2 years, and just on the spiritual level, and don't share this, everybody. Well, every Wednesday we were on our knees fasting every Wednesday for the first year for 24 hours and praying and just say, hey, what do we do next? What's the next thing? And we'd work till 11 at night, and we'd get up in the morning and we'd work. And that's kind of how we started it, trying things and this and that. And there's a lot more to it.
Well, I love the couple of things I really want to make sure people hear. One is they made a commitment. They made a commitment. We're going to do what it takes to build a business. They had $1.40 in savings, basically, and that was it. They lived in a windowless, bathroomless, kitchenless dwelling because that's what they could afford, and yet they still gave God glory. And they had a book. I love this. Look what God did. Keep a journal.
It's called What God Has Done. We still have them. I don't know how many, maybe we're on the 10th one or something, but all the things, our kids and everything, we every year we revisit that. What God has done. What God has done.
That's a great idea. It's like a journal, but it's focused on what has God done. We do our part, but what could God do? And I always say,
forget.
Yeah, we do.
The Israelites, they forgot.
That's right. They forgot.
What happened here? That's why even God said, put a stone down to remember what I have done, because we forget so quickly. So that's fun. That's
a powerful piece. And folks, faith and business are not mutually exclusive. And I just want to make sure that's why you listen to this show. I'm a man of faith, but I also want you to be wealthy. I want you to have massive success. And those are not mutually exclusive. You cannot have this mindset of, okay, I have to choose one or the other. And so I want to be wealthy, therefore I can't be a person of faith. You're listening to a man of faith, David Horsager, and his wife, Lisa, who made a decision that we're going to do both. We're going to be successful. We're going to be wealth builders. We're going to be legacy makers, but we're also going to be people of faith. And I was on a radio interview just the other day. Look, we're going to take a quick break. I got to come back. I'll tell you about the radio event because this is something powerful I want you to hear. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show. And for sure, your best is yet to come.
But Lord, since I've met you, all that's changed in the blink of an eye. Now.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why some people can make $1 million, lose it, make a second million, lose that, then make a third million, while other people can't even make ends meet? Well, the reason is that those people know the recipe for success. And that recipe is available to everyone if you will do what they did. They made a habit of getting positive, motivational resources of great thinkers and great learners. And I want to offer those same kind of resources to you. We've developed a free page on my website. It's wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. On that site, we've got resources, books, audios that help you to grow, and they're free. So go to wjspeaks.com/gift, wjspeaks.com/gift, and get some of those resources, and then share that page with your friends and your family members. We want to impact and inspire millions of people. And remember, if you enjoy this message on this podcast, like it, share it, and post a review about it, and make a difference in the lives of others by letting them know about it. Have a great day. This is Dr. Willie Jolley.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the T to the T to the I to the T to the U to the E to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, and my special guest is David Horsager, who is the #1 expert in trust leadership in America, and a gentleman who has built an entrepreneurial venture, and he has done it with an interesting byproduct that he has stayed faithful. He was in mission work. He was working with a group of people in Arkansas to help people. He's built homes, even when they didn't have a lot. They'd made a commitment. Because I was asked in an interview just the other day, I was doing an interview, and a gentleman asked me on the interview, well, you're a man of faith. We all know that. You've been featured numerous times giving the actual Sunday morning message at the Hour of Power, broadcast globally. Your books talk about faith and the fact that you also a person who wants people to be wealthy. I grew up with the fact that the money is the root of all evil. I said, stop. You're misquoting scripture. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Money by itself is a tool. Its job is to bless people, to make a difference, to do well, to do good. A stapler, a pen, my iPhone, they are all tools. I like to use them, but I don't worship them, and nor should you worship money. You should use money. In order to use it, you got to get some, because you can't give what you ain't got. So David Horsager has created a business that is a very successful multi-million-dollar business, but he's also maintained his priorities. In fact, I want to ask that question, David. I know that you're a man of principles. You're a principled man. That's how you built this business. Now, we've heard about your faith, but what is your priority in life? Tell us how you prioritize life.
Our mission, Lisa and I's mission, if you enter our home, it's on the left, love God and people. So how do we do that? How do we love God and people? And I'll tell you what, I'll take this right now. We can talk more about the entrepreneurial journey, but this is a question we ask all the time. And is this loving? Is this loving toward the client? We built our business on this. Is this loving toward the employee? See, when you have power over, you don't have to be. You don't have to give benefits that are the greatest. You don't have to do that thank you note to that beautiful gift to those people. So our question is this loving toward the world? Is this loving toward God first? Is this loving? So that's a question, even as entrepreneurs, as leaders of now a fairly significant team. And I've got, trusted certified coaches on 6 continents, from Kyrgyzstan to Uganda and Kenya and Indonesia and Quebec, and Amsterdam. So, I mean, is this loving the way this is a jump, but it's something we're thinking about right now. We built this coaching platform, really cool. The reason it's the best, if it is, and
Yes.
it is, if anything, it's excellent.
Yes.
Is because of the mindset of what would be the most loving to coaches that need to build their businesses around the world. Should we nickel and dime them on this? Should we do this? No, we should give them the tools to train. We should give them the metrics. They don't have to pay every time they assess. These decisions came out of that simple, hopefully God-honoring mindset of what is the most loving way to create a community of coaches that can change the world with trust.
Wow. And so that sign in your office, in your home, or in your business and your life is love God and love people.
That's it.
And all right, and you do that.
Yep. Well, we seek to, and then have tenets below that for our family that we teach. This is a fun one for this audience. I'm jumping all over the place, but here it is.
That's good.
One of them, because you're making me think about family a lot now, which we bring in all the time. With my book coming out, they came in and made package stuff, even with my full-time team. But I've got an 18-year-old now, but when we have these tenets, and you can see them in my first book for our family. And I said to my wife at one time, right when we had our first kid, this is a good consulting question, not very romantic. What do we want the output of an 18-year-old Horsager to look like? What do we want that to look like? And it might sound kind of like, boy, non-romantic, but we made this list of 12, 13 items. Well, we want them to be generous. We want them to do unto others as they would do unto you. We want them to, these 12, 13 things that comes under love God and people. And we said, so interestingly, we learned, even though I was flying 100 speeches a year, 200 flights, whatever, when I was in town at the breakfast table, I would share one of them. I would just say, how are you doing this one? How are you doing that one? Just something. By 2 years old, everybody knew all 13. They could say them just without, not even a big Bible study or anything, just a quick thing. And so here's the thing that happened. When our career turned, and they knew, my oldest daughter, she remembers when we wouldn't buy her a $7 t-shirt in school when every other kid had one because we didn't have the money. And the teacher bought one for her, and the embarrassment of that was one. But she also saw once we grew and things changed dramatically. And so she said, I was flying more, and I said, I think we should trade in. We had a Suburban for the family, and I think we should trade it in because I'm flying more, I'm out more. I think you should have more reliable, just a little newer vehicle. And my daughter, I was thinking trade it in. And my daughter could see things had changed some for us probably. And she said, well, that family from church needs a vehicle. Our tenet is be generous. Shouldn't we give it to them?
Wow.
We ended up giving that vehicle away because our 5-year-old daughter held us to our tenets that fulfill our mission.
Wow. Okay. Well, you see, folks, that's why I wanted him to talk about that there are principles, and if you listen often, I'm talking about principle-based creation of success that is not stick and move, but you got some principles that you live by, because principles are bedrock. Throw a rock up 100 times, it come down 100 times because of a principle called gravity, and principles are bedrock. Now, David, we got a book that you have now released. Your first book was The Trust Edge, correct? And now you got a new book called The Trusted Leader: 8 Pillars That Drives Results. And it's a powerful book because it's a story followed by principle-based thinking. And first of all, why did you write the book after the success of The Trust Edge, which was a New York Times bestseller?
Yeah, that first book was, that came out of my grad work and all this work. I was a fresh way of thinking about trust 20 years ago or whatever. It came out 15 years ago or something. But basically, we kept finding, and we do one of the biggest studies on trust and leadership. That's a global study, Trust Outlook. We kept finding that a lack of trust is the biggest cost. The number one question everybody's asking is not, do I like you? I've got friends I like a lot. I wouldn't go into business with them in a million years. The number one question everybody's asking about you is, can I trust you? Trust was always the leading indicator in the research. Everything else lagged. We want more sales. There's only one way. You have to increase trust. Is it a leadership issue? It never is. The only reason I follow a leader or not is trust. How do I amplify my marketing? There's only one way. You have to increase trust in the marketing. How do we deal with the diversity issues of our day? Well, diversity on its own, the biggest Harvard study shows pits people against each other. Unless you increase trust, then you get the great benefits of diversity that we know are also research-based, but you have to deal with the trust issue. How do we increase learning in a classroom? We have to increase trust in the content, the teacher, or the psychological safety or trust of the room. So trust was the leading indicator. We kept finding trust was the root cause, and most people do not deal with the root cause. It's always a trust issue. And without ego, I can say work on 6 continents, all the research, it's always at the core, it's a trust issue, whether it's everything of value from the greatest financial institutions to any good relationship you have, it's built on trust. So that frame of reference, and people think it's something you have or you don't. It's not. It's something that can actually be built, but it's always a root issue. And then the second half is this 8-pillar framework that came out of that original research that is 8 ways that you build trust. In fact, last year, an outside university, where there's been PhDs built on this, but an outside university just triangulated revalidation for those that care showed that this is how trust is built globally.
Give them those 8 pillars. Let's start with that. I know that's the ending, but I want to start with it because it's so profound.
Because people think they know it. I thought I knew it all. Oh, trust.
Right.
It's just transparency. No, it's not. Some of your kids are so transparent on Facebook, I don't trust them for a second. It's also confidentiality. We got to be able. So these 8 pillars, I believe you can solve every organizational leadership issue against these 8. And so we can talk about each of them for a full day, but just for context, they are denoted by C words, not a motivational, let's all have all C's, but for clarity, they're all C's representing a research funnel. Number 1 is clarity. We trust the clear, and we mistrust or distrust the ambiguous. And many leaders and visions think they're clear when they're not. Number 2 is compassion. We trust those that care beyond themselves. I have a hard time trusting or following someone if I don't feel like they care beyond themselves.
Right. Maya Angelou said people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Go ahead. Great.
Absolutely. And I love that one. And she said wisely, people don't remember what you said, what you did. They remember how you made them feel.
That's right.
Feel cared about. Right.
That's right.
So, number 3 is character. And we trust those that do what's right over what's easy. And we have a 7-step process for how you drive this into organizations. People, think character stops at 12 years old. It's not true. Many organizations we work with are incentivizing in their sales team a lack of the character they say they want to have, or some of the corruption issues we're dealing with in East Africa. Until we can get a police officer not be incentivized by the bribery, they're not going to change hundreds of year old bribery. So there's some things to deal with there, but it's not everything. Because the 4th pillar is this. I might trust Dr. Jolley and his wife for sure to take my kids to the ball game because they have compassion. They have character. That does not mean I'll trust Dr. Jolley to give me a root canal because of competency. Number 4 is competency. We trust those that stay fresh and relevant. This is why we love this show that you put on. We get fresh, relevant competency ideas to get better, to be capable. Next pillar is commitment. We trust those that stay committed, even in the face of adversity. If you think of people that have left a legacy in your life or history, your mom, dad, first grade teacher, Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Jesus, or Joan of Arc, you will find someone who is trusted because they were committed to something beyond themselves, often to death. So commitment. Next pillar is connection, the ability to connect and collaborate. If I go into a company and I see siloing, that's a counterforce of this connection pillar. And there's a lot we could say about that. The next pillar is going through them quickly so you can respond here before the break. Contribution. And really the number 1 word that came out of this pillar was results. We trust those that contribute results. So you can't just have compassion and character and not contribute results. That surgeon, let's say really compassionate, but in amputation cuts off the wrong leg. You got a problem, right?
You got a problem.
You got to contribute results. But you can't just contribute results and not have compassion or character. You'll lose trust that way too. You got to have all 8. Right. Final pillar. We call it the queen and king of the pillars. It is consistency. Whatever you do consistently, I will trust. If you're late all the time, I will in fact trust you to be
late all the time.
Late. So you're the only way to build a reputation is consistency. The only way to build a brand is consistency. And frankly, all the pillars are only empowered by this pillar. If you only have character pillar, when the lights are on, that's not character. If I only have compassion with people that look just like me, that's not compassion. These 8 work together. And I'll say one more thing for life.
Hold that thought. Hold it. We'll come right back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Take a quick break. We're going to come right back. And you're listening to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I got an email from a gentleman in Australia who shared how he had been struggling in his business, and he bought some of my books and audios, and how it had a profound impact on his business, and he went from worst to first in his company. I shared with him how much I appreciated his note, but I told him those books, those audios, those videos were not just something that I just thought up one day and started to write. They were born out of my experiences, out of the challenges of overcoming the problems and the difficulties and how I was able to do it. And I shared with him that others have sent similar messages and that these resources work. I want to encourage you and invite you to go to my store. Go to wjspeaks.com/shop. wjspeaks.com/shop. Get some of the books. It only takes a minute to change your life. Or a setback is a setup for a comeback. Or turn setbacks into greenbacks. Or chicken soup for the soul. Or an attitude of excellence. Or the book I wrote with my wife after 34 years of being married and not having an argument in over 30 years. We wrote a book called Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. And now it is saving marriages all over the globe. Go to the store, get some of the audios, the videos, the books, the resources to help you have greater personal and professional success. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Make this a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And I want you to give that last thought before I give my shout out to my sponsors. Please tell us where you were going, because that was so powerful. I didn't want to stop you. You were on such a roll. I was
It's so
digging it.
quick.
I'm compelled by this. This is captivating. I'm thinking, you're right. The biggest companies, you said about consistency. I think about Marriott. In my contracts, I will often tell what hotel brands I want to stay at when I was traveling, and Hyatt, Marriott, Ritz-Carlton, Hilton. I'd say I want one of these because of the consistency of the product. I know when I go in there, or if I go to a restaurant that is one of my favorites, that's I'll just say Maggiano's or Cheesecake Factory or something that's around. When I go to Sissy, where do you want to? I know what I'm gonna get when I get there, because it's consistent no matter where I go. So,
Yet to that point, I trust McDonald's even if I don't like them, because I've had the same exact burger on 6 continents. The pickle soft senator where I go, right? So
that's right.
Same distance trusted. What I was going to say is, in this short time, listeners, you can see in the book, there's actionable takeaways under each of these pillars. What you can do to increase clarity tomorrow morning, what you can do to increase consistency. But what you have to understand is you can solve every organizational leadership issue against these 8. Now, we contextualize globally and everything, but just so you see this, you might say, well, we've got clarity down. We share at the annual meeting, the vision. If you don't share that consistently every 21 days, nobody knows the vision. They go together. Now, another thing we found in the research, when I say people solve the wrong problem most of the time and not the root issue, people say we got an engagement issue. You never do. The only way to increase engagement is increase trust. The research shows we got a net promoter score, an NPS issue. The only way to get more referrals is increase trust. And how about this? We've got a communication issue. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, at the core, it is never a communication issue. I know what well-meaning people say, but communication is happening all the time. Clear communication is trusted. Unclear communication is not trusted. Compassionate communication is trusted. Hateful communication is not. Consistent is, inconsistent isn't. So if we can actually see the case for trust and how it is the root issue, and if we can actually understand and have this common language of these 8, we can actually solve the real issue against that. And that's when we see sales go up, triple even, retention go up, attrition go down, even marital issues. So if we have this language, we can at least align with the real issue. Man, I love this. And that brings me to give another shout out to my sponsor, because they are built on trust. The name is Truist, and that was that they took a word trust and they added the fact that it will be responsible for its clients and its customers and really have an impact. Truist
is our sponsor, and that is a bank that's here for better. BB&T and SunTrust merged to form Truist with a shared purpose to inspire and build better lives and communities. And let me give you one example. Truist has come up with something called the Truist Community Benefits Plan that's earmarked $60 billion. That's right, billion with a B, to invest in affordable housing, nonprofit support, small business growth over the next 3 years. So you can see while Truist is committed to a better banking experience for you, they're just as committed to giving back to the community and creating meaningful change for all folks who are striving to do more, to be more, and to achieve more. So I hope you'll check them out at truist.com. Let me spell that for you. It's TRUIST.com. Truist Financial, member FDIC. Trust is part of the name for Truist. And that's why I'm so glad I got the number one trust expert in the world. He is the founder of the Trust Edge Leadership Group, and he is out of Minnesota. And I've been there a number of times. So first of all, before we go any further, where can they get this book? I want people to go get it today. I want to get it for everybody on the team.
Get it. And we'll send you, if you get bulk, we'll give you a free discussion guide. We give you a master class. We give you a video series, but it's Trusted Leader. Just like Facebook, take the word the off of it. Just Trusted Leader, trustedleaderbook.com, or anywhere books are sold, and everything else we can do you can find at my name or at trustedge.com. But Trusted Leader, you have to add the word book to it, trustedleaderbook.com, and we'll give you a whole lot of free assets, or you can get that anywhere books are sold.
Speaking of your name, Horsager, 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 and you can reach out to him to have him speak for your team. He's one of the top speakers, beyond the fact that he's the leading expert in trust. He's a Hall of Famer. I make sure to let you know that I'm the chairman this year of the Speaker Hall of Fame Leadership Committee, and he's one of our trusted examples of excellence that we are so proud of. I'm very grateful for him not only sending me the book, but for people who are watching on the video, I got Trusted Leader socks.
I'm going to send you another package too. With
I'm looking for all the goodies. The book is called Trusted Leader: 8 Pillars That Drive Results. John Maxwell says it's a pivotal guide for today's leader, and so many others are featured on it. Ken Blanchard, people we've had on this show. Harvey McKay, good friend of mine. He talks about it. A lot of my friends, people who we've had, many of them on the show, all of them that I just mentioned, Nito Cobain, all of them I mentioned on this book and have talked about how powerful it is. Okay, the first part is by a guy named Ethan. And Ethan is the leader of a company that is growing, but they're in the midst of a crisis. And in the midst of a crisis, he goes off to go skiing with his buddies, annual ski trip, saying, well, I got to get away, clear my head, got to think my way through this, and has an accident. Tell us about the whole.
Yeah. So let me just, why is it broken up this way? People and the publisher and all the work we do, they don't always want to read a 365-page book or more like Trust Edge. This first part of this book is a quick story to help shift thinking around trust. And and the second half is totally the application, how I can use it tomorrow morning. But that first half, Ethan, there's a lot of things I struggled with as a leader. And there's parts of that story, the wife, Maya in the story, a lot like my wife. She's amazing. Marry well, that's a good choice. But
well, that's a really good choice.
Exactly. We were talking about that earlier. I'm grateful for that in this entrepreneurial journey, that's for sure. But there's some things that happened to him that I've seen happen. And so all this, like the boardroom situation where this board in their boardroom, they're going to lose everything. And this exactly thing happened when I was a consultant watching a certain company where everybody said, we got to get this out. We're going to lose all our funding. If we don't get this done by May 1st, we're going down. We all agree, right? Yep, we're going down. And they were saying, yep, so much. I'm like, I don't believe them. So finally I said, everybody shut your eyes. 1 out of 10. You think we're going to deliver? And 9, 8, 9. And then a lady, actually in real life, probably the one that had the most to lose, the lowest level in the boardroom said, I think it's a 3. She's the only one that had the willingness to be frank and honest. And that truth changed the company, and they were able to save it in real life. And that's the start of a tipping point of change in his mind, even, and how he thinks differently about trust. I said it before, we think we know it all, like, oh, it takes a long time to build trust. Well, in crisis, people run in the same direction. They trust each other in a moment. There's a whole lot of trust is more complex than we think, and yet it still is the root cause. And that's the purpose of that situation. And of course, Ethan is on this story to finding out really the complexity in a quick story of how trust is built and how he can leverage that to save his company, which he does. There's a spoiler.
Wow. Let me tell you, it reminded me of my work with Ford Motor Company. In 2006, I got a call from Ford Motor Company. They had brought in Alan Mulally from Boeing because Ford's market share had gone from 50% down to 15%. They were on their way to bankruptcy, out of business. They told him he needs to change his company or it's out of business. He has to turn it around or it's out of business. And one of the people in the room, when he got there, said, we need a comeback. And someone else said, comeback? That's Willie Jolley. We need to call in Willie Jolley. That's guy. I've heard him speak. I bought his book. So they called me. I worked with Ford in 2006, 2007, 2008, and in 2009, Ford was able to reject a government bailout and go on to billion-dollar profits. But the lessons I learned from Alan Mulally was a trusted leader who in that boardroom, what you just said, he would tell people, tell me the truth, but they wouldn't because everybody was on their own agenda. They were afraid to look like they were weak, and no one would, oh, how's that project? Oh, everything's good. Everything's good. And finally one person said, I got problems and I need help. And he said, that was the time Alan Mulally stood up and said, that's what I've been waiting for. He gave him a standing ovation. And that's when broke the log jam. And then others started saying, well, I'm not doing as well as I've been putting on to do. And it was through that trust and that leadership that they were able to turn Ford around. I was just a bit player, but they were doing it because of trust. Am I right?
I love that. And that is so true. And look at Ford now. I mean, it's such a great analogy. To get personal here a little bit, one of the findings in last year's study was 92% of leaders would be more trusted if they would be more transparent about their mistakes, not just transparent. People talk about transparency, and remember, confidentiality is also trusted. We have to, we do our quarterly earnings calls and everything. But if leaders would be more transparent, not about how great they are, I won this award, I'm the greatest at this, but about our mistakes. We say this all the time. If you're doing leadership alone, you're doing it wrong.
I was getting ready to, that's on, look, that I'm gonna tell you right now, that folks, that exactly what it's on page 23. If you're doing leadership alone, you're doing it wrong. You had no idea, but that was my next question. You've read on.
You got to have a team. You got to have an accountability group. That's the brain trust in the book. But I have two of these groups for real. They're the dedication of the book this time. One of them is one of those groups of four guys. We've been together for 28 years.
Wow.
Consistently. We each lead organizations now. We were in college then 30 years ago, and we started meeting and we didn't stop. And that's been transformed. And it, by the way, for us, and this is important, where I have a different business mastermind. This group, they hold us accountable. How are you doing in your marriage? How are you doing in your parenting? How are you doing in your leadership? And by the way, there's so much deep, true love we can get in each other's grill about, hey, you better change that. You better do that. But you can't talk about in those times. You can't talk about, well, my wife could do this better. My kid could do that. Only what you can do. And that's been transformative, that group. When we get together on our, now used to be weekly, but now we're all over the world. Once a year, 5 days, we each share for about 3 hours each. Through all these questions and accountability, and it's transformative. There's a whole lot of other ways, coaching, masterminds, mentorship, but if you're doing leadership alone, you're doing it wrong. And if we can be transparent about our mistakes, not how great we are, but our mistakes, people start to come around us and they start to trust us and see us. I've been in boardrooms with some of the top leaders, presidents of countries and presidents of companies that are scared to death they're going to be found out. When they finally open up, their team actually gets behind them.
I love that. I think I tell often a story when I was a new speaker. I went to a seminar. There were a number of speakers. The first speaker got up and talked about how great his family was, how great his life was, how he was making so much money. His kids were perfect. Life was perfect. And I took notes because I wanted that same perfect life. But the next speaker talked about how he struggled, how things were challenging, how things were difficult, and how he had made mistakes, but he learned from them. And that was the guy that I connected with after. I don't even remember to this day that first guy, but I remember the second guy, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And I tell him often, man, your message of being transparent changed my life. It made me
Absolutely.
realize I could do it. We're going to take a quick break. This is Dr. Willie Jolley and the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show. And for sure, we'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere because the best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
Pick up the phone and just
Friendship is not about being convenient. It's about being committed and consistent.
You can call on me.
When you need me,
Call me. You can call on me.
call me.
You can call on me.
Pick up the phone
You can call
and call me.
If you need me, you can What good is a friend if you cannot depend on them when you're in need?
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley on the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show with my special guest. He is the leading expert globally in the area of trust leadership. He is the CEO of Trust Edge Leadership Institute, best-selling author of The Trust Edge, inventor of the Enterprise Trust Index, and director of one of the nation's foremost trust studies, the Trust Outlook. He is a trust expert in residence for High Point University with Nito Cobain is president. He has been featured in all the great magazines, and now I'm honored to say he's featured here on Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show, David Horsager, and he is the author of a new book, Trusted Leader, 8 Pillars That Drive Results. and he tells you. And when I asked him, when we talked initially, I said, look, this is a wealth ways show. We wealthy ways. What does trust have to do with wealth? And he was quick. He said, my friend, let me tell you, the reason that Oprah is wealthy is because they trust her. The reason that you buy those Apple phones is because you trust it. You know, it's if you get a trust brand that's consistent, man, you're on your way to making a lot of money. I said, bingo, you're on, baby.
Let me just say this without the research, without the grad work, even I'll put in an analogy. Okay, a good analogy of a lack of trust is a lock. Why do I put a lock on anything? Because I don't trust you. What's the cost then? What's the cost, right? The cost is what? I got to buy. Now that's money.
Yes.
But the biggest cost is not the money. The biggest cost is now I got to open it every time I go through the gate, and that's time. So every time trust goes up or down, you're dealing with attrition, retention, all that, but you're always dealing with some cost, some time. You can think about this. What about text someone you trust? How long does that take? Whoop. Now text someone you don't trust. How long does that take? Oh, how are you going to take this? It always costs. It can cost in a company, duplicity, or in an organization, but it always costs wealth. Your key to increasing wealth is increasing more trust.
Wow. In the marketplace, in your brand, in your employees and your associates, if you completely consistently trusting, they know that you're going to do what you say. Now, here's the question to come to mind. Everybody I know, I'm asking for them. What do you do when you mess up? Okay. When you mess up, sure. and you got to, you and maybe your marriage is messed up, your business is messed up, people don't trust you. What do you do then, David?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We have a 10-step process for your big company that just had an oil spill. But whether you're a big company, and you can email us and I'll give it to you, but whether you're a big company or an individual, it comes down to one thing, and it is not the apology. I'm not saying you don't need to apologize to open the door. I still remember the CEO from the Netherlands came to America. He said, I said, what's the first thing you noticed? He'd been here a little bit. He said, David, you want to know the truth? I said, yeah. He said, David, in America, you got a bunch of lying apologizers. They all say they're sorry and they don't mean it. I got this guy who comes in every day. I'm sorry I'm late. He's late every day. We don't retrust on the apology. I'm not saying you don't need to open the door of communication with apology, but the only way to rebuild trust, big company or individual, is make and keep a new commitment. And
that's good, David. David, that's good stuff. Come on, somebody. That's really good.
The only way, and this is, by the way, the only way to trust yourself more is to make and keep commitments with yourself. Stop making so many commitments. You heard the idea, love your neighbors yourself. You find someone who doesn't love themselves at all, they're not very fun to be around.
Right.
It's the same with people that don't trust themselves. And the reason they don't trust themselves is because they don't make and keep commitments with themselves. So they don't believe anybody else can. And they poison teams.
Keep commitments in marriage, in business. Many marriages break up because people don't trust. They check behind. To checking their phone because they have a trust issue, which is a security issue. And many people know my wife and I wrote a book that's very popular now, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. And people, you can actually go to jollymarriage.com and get a free chapter, jollymarriage.com. And we talk about the fact that communication and all of that, but it comes down to a trust issue. And when people don't trust and there's insecurity, that they're going to sneak behind you, check on you because they don't trust you. Well, my wife knows she can look at my phone anytime. She knows that who I'm talking to. I'm talking to an old girlfriend I used to have 20, or not 20. I've been married but together with her 30, 40, 50 years ago. I don't know, some time ago. And how's she doing? She's doing fine, and come and say hi to her. So, we understand that we trust each other, and that's what, but when you mess up, say that one more time, what you got to do, David. That's the most powerful thing I have not heard it like that. Say it one more time.
The only way to rebuild trust is to make and keep a new commitment. That's it.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Make and keep a new commitment and hold it. Oh, and I love that lying apologist. That is true. We got people say, oh, I'm sorry, I was late. I'm sorry. They're not really sorry. They just lying, but they say it because that's the easy. Okay. We're going to ask you for you got us. You got us. What are the you got us here? What are the you got us? What are the you got us here that you got to have? So imagine that you came to DC. I picked you up and we drove over to Howard University, which is not too far from my home. And we went in and went to the business class and went to the students. They are entrepreneurs, want small business, people who want to be small business people. They want to be in corporate and to say, hey. Now, tell them 3 you got it. Here, you got it. If you be successful, you got to do this. Give them to them, Dave.
Okay, we already said doing leadership alone, you're doing it wrong. You've got to find others. You've gotta find others to do the journey with, whether they're friends, family, whatever. Number 2, you got to do the work. On the farm, we say that pile doesn't shovel itself. The bales don't bail themselves. You got to do the work. And there's the problem today. That's skewed evidence. It was actually good research, psychocybernetics evidence. The problem is people skewed it and said, oh, you can change a habit in 21 days. You can do this and this and this. Not true. Most of that's skewed. It takes more time. It takes more work. You got to do the work. That's got to
do the work. Yep.
Number 3, you got to do the little things consistently that make the biggest difference. Little things done consistently. So let's just I'm going to run through one idea really fast. We say personally, have you planted and cultivated your seeds? SEEDS. Have you? A lot of times, people that accomplish goals, they come back from a big event. They go, "Oh, I'm going to accomplish this big goal." If they haven't cultivated their seeds, they almost don't have a chance. First S is sleep. Are you sleeping okay? We used to be arrogant. No, I don't sleep at all. I'm the coolest. I never need sleep. Turns out you do. You need sleep. Quit being arrogant about sleeping 2 hours a night. Number 2, the E. You got to exercise, move a little bit. Okay. Next one is eat right. I mean, you might want to hear the story sometimes. I lost 52 pounds in 5 months. 10 years ago, I've kept it off, but a doctor said you can't outrun a cheeseburger, and you got to stop because you can, that's 2,200 calories, and you can only get 500 burnt in an hour. So you got to, if you want to drive a Ferrari, quit putting junker fuel in. The next one is D, is drink water, and the final of seeds, the S is source of strength. If you only get a source of strength from your work, not from faith, family, or something else, you're almost certainly worse in your work. So you gotta have a team, others. You got to do the work, and you got to do the little things consistently. Start out with your seeds.
Man, folks, I know y'all agree with me. This is brilliant. Not good, brilliant. David, where can they get the book, and where can they reach you? Because we want them to bring you and your team in for their organizations or for their personal. There are a lot of small business people who need to grow their brand. Where can they get that book? They got to get that book, and they got to get, folks, I'm going to give you another you got to. Got to get it for everybody on your team. Everybody needs a copy of that book. So tell them.
You can get it anywhere books are sold. It's a great publisher, Barrett Kohler, trusted leader. You can come to trustedleaderbook.com. You can find everything about me either at my name or trustedge.com. TrustEDGE.com. You can get everybody on our team, how to measure trust, how to close gaps, how to build it. TrustEdge.com. You can even find the book there. That might be easier to remember, but otherwise it's Trusted Leader Book, not the, like face, take the off, just trustedleaderbook.com. But you know what?
I like trustedge.com. TRUST. It's real easy. Trustedge.com to reach David Horsager, and you can hire him, and he can help implement a trust strategy that works to get results. Closing comments, David. We got about a minute left. Go ahead.
Hey, here's what I would say. Everything of value is built on trust. From the greatest financial institutions to every good relationship you have, you've got to shift thinking about trust. And when you see the research, by the way, we have access to the newest research every year. We give it away for free, but you'll see that trust is always the root issue. When you start to see the root issue against these 8 pillars of trust, you start to solve the real issue, and there's nothing like it. It is so fun to see the results, whether it's saving a marriage or building a business. I'm grateful to have a great marriage, and I'm grateful for our business, but I'm
and your farm that you have built and bought. He went from that little windowless, bathroomless to a massive farm that he raises his 4 children, and they have everything they need right there. Thank you, David.
Legs. Come on out and see us, but I trust you.
I'm coming to hang out there. I love it. I love Minnesota anyway. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to encourage everybody again to hang out with my friends who are trusted. That is Truist Financial. We've been partnering with them because they took BB&T and SunTrust, merged to form Truist with a shared purpose to inspire and build better businesses and lives. You can check them out. They are unleashing potential for greatness at Truist.com. Go to Truist, TRUIST.com. WillieJolley.com. Tell them Dr. Willie Jolley sent you, and they will make sure to take good care of you. And then I want you to go to winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. All my websites are there. My faith-based website, my business website, my marriage website, my youth website, my music website, and you can get some of my resources to help you win more. Listen to me every morning on the syndicated radio show Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell at 8:20 Eastern, 7:20 Central on the Radio 1 network. And make sure that you go to Win with Willie, sign up for my newsletter, sign up for that newsletter. And every morning I'll send you a 1-minute video, absolutely free, to inspire you, because we know that people who read or listen to something positive in the first 20 minutes of their day have greater achievement than those who don't. So you want to make sure that you sign up for the newsletter. It's free. I'll send it because I want to help you win. And so last but not least, join us Monday night, every Monday night, 9 o'clock on Facebook Live, Willie.Jolley Facebook Live, and on the Real Willie Jolley TV show on Instagram, and it's the Real Willie Jolley on Instagram live, so that you can see our marriage show, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, the broadcast. Hey, thank you for your time. Thank you for staying focused. Share this with Lottie Dottie and everybody. And remember, for sure, your best is yet to come. God bless you. Real good. God bless. Bye-bye.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My, it's up to you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope you got something of great value. And I hope that you were inspired, you were motivated, you were empowered, and you were encouraged to live your best life. I hope this information and this inspiration will help you to do more, be more, and to achieve more. That's the goal why I started this program, and I hope it helped you in a mighty way. Now, I ask you to make sure and that you take full advantage of all the resources that came through this program. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/gift and get some of the free resources that we have there for you. I hope you go to wjspeaks.com/shop to get some of the books that we have created, that we've labored over to make sure that they will deliver a powerful message to you. I hope you go to williejolly.com/billionaire. williejolly.com/billionaire or wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get the box that it will inspire your whole family, or get the bag of books. Make this a great day, a great week, a great month. And remember, it is true that you are blessed and all things are possible for them that believe. So make the most of the belief that you have now in your future. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.